All right. So there, I think that should do it. So I should be live now. Something, my instincts just said, you might want to check. Yep, I'm live. So I did it correctly this time. Apparently I can create a live through my phone and then go through my software and stream through it through the software. And it was just too much. And I ended up creating another one from the software to add two. Yeah, it got mixed up. That was a whole nother situation. Okay, but everything is smiling down on me now. I wanted to. Okay, hold on. Okay, everything is okay. So, in other words, I wanted to sort of check to see how everything just flowed. Okay, so it still flows good. I'm always. I feel like I need to check to see. Yeah, I hear myself. Good. And then there I am. Okay, so I got it all. I figured it out. Yeah, so okay, there's a lot going on. I have been extremely, gosh, I'm busy, 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 busy. So uh, it's become where it's no, it's no, it's no, what do you call it? No longer obtainable. Only word I could think obtainable for me to do like everything like strictly on its own. Like I need to work and go live or go live and work if I want to go live because my schedule is picked up and I'm thinking in terms of like hours in a day. It's like I have to overlap some things, but I am enjoying it. This obviously is psychic readings, so I'm always enjoying the psychic readings. I want to do more of those, and I'm sorting out some things, some things energetically, and yeah, it's coming together. In my mind, and I'm going to continue, to focus on being in the moment. And of course, I already let them know. They said, yeah, we kind of short-handed again. So people get burned out around me because I tend to I become obsessed and I'm overindulgent and I'm overstimulating, but I also become overstimulated. Like the same procedure, it excites me, and not only that, it just goes up and up and up and up. So like I don't routines and then regular routine. For some reason, it becomes hysterical later. So I get really energetic about routines. And what throws me off is when I feel that it's there's not a pattern. I don't mind, things changing. Yeah, so I have a big day. Hopefully in my psyche somewhere says we're going to go live. Oh, by the way, I'm on that 3 a.m. schedule. They even need me earlier than that. They need me like at 2 a.m. But that's like half a day, because that's like 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm already thinking of 3 p.m. I know what's the hour. What is an hour? It's just the idea. Like, whoa, 12 hours? I don't know. I like to do it on my own. When people suggest it, for some reason, I feel like it takes the energy out of it. If I just decide to do a 12-hour, it's like surprise, and then I'm okay with it. Yeah. Oh yes. So the new pope, he chose the name. He chose his name, and I'm a little bit unfamiliar. I guess it's papacy. Okay, yeah, yes, his papacy name, and which is Pope, which that is actual a tarot card. So there's the Pope, and then Leo is the Strength card, and then the 14th. I was thinking in my head, I was like very elementary. I said, well, you could think of it as like 10, and then which would be the Wheel of Fortune, and then one would be the Fool, and then five would be again, I believe that would be the Hierophant again. That's very elementary. We know how it's supposed to go. There's an entire card that represents. So I thought, okay, so 14th, the tarot card, which is temperance, basically everything in moderation. But again, this one I would say is just a theory. So it's just to kind of like chit chat about it. I wouldn't take it. I'm not taking it serious, but there are other things to talk about. Oh, absolutely, that are actually real. Like real psychic prediction or like kind of like laid in stone predictions. And I've been debating for most of the afternoon if I should indulge myself. If I do, it's a total win. I mean, I would come in and I'd rack up, but at the same time, I feel like like I'm giving something away. But it's the perfect time to do it, and I know that I have to at some point. But still, something inside is saying, kind of like, hold on, wait a little longer, just hold your horses. So I'm thinking about like holding out. It's a little while longer, maybe. Yeah, I think I am. What I like to do is make the predictions, let everything play out. Like everybody, get moves back to, I guess, back to start or back to safety space, and then I like to share. Or oftentimes, I shroud it like it's like layers and layers of conversation, and then somewhere in the middle, I talk all about that in great detail, and then bring it up a year later. I tend to do that. Hmm. It's a little bit of a habit. I think it's because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, not everyone wants to know everything. Not everyone maybe needs to know these things. But that's why I always say there's no real substantiated purpose or a reason, rhyme or reason why I share these pieces of you want to say predictions or knowledge, unknown knowledge, unseen knowledge. I just do it because because I'm just like fantastic at it. I'm really good at it. That's so knowing that I can do it is enough, and I get something out of that, value. So value out of that. So then I share it, and I'm like, ta-da! So that's that. Maybe universe is preparing me for something later. Who knows? Oh, by the way, um, my numbers actually are improving. I've got some. My channel is doing something again. It's doing subscribers, and people are watching, which is great. Um, but I still have time to try to figure out exactly how I want um, everything to flow. I mean, how I want what I know what my channel's about, but like I need a little bit of a process. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. And oh, what? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm still very interested in Paralini's. I saw Paralini's astrological horoscope, and I was immediately reading him, and so I know it's always going to be in the back of my mind. And I think they really considered his age, but I just don't want to. I mean, I don't like having to read people like that. I'm just reading the room. He was 80. This one's 50. And my concern was only I knew it wasn't going to be the other ones. I hands down, and I explained why on my um in writing. I said the position of the Pope is about the world. It's not about this works for the kings and the principles like they principalities. What they will do is say, I'm just focused on my people. It's perfect for them, but the position of Pope is different. It's it's the millions of people other than your people, but then your people again at the end. So like you you had to be about the world, and the other ones they just haven't reached that. They still need what they call it to cultivate. They still need to cultivate their powers. But an American one about hits it. American one nails it. Yeah. Naturally, Italy, Rome, Pope, okay, the world. But America, like a neck and neck, well, clearly, um, American Pope, first American Pope. If he would have been the first anything, and if he was, if he was first of anything and any gender or race, they would probably celebrate. They probably be like, only ones who's celebrating that is like few people, like the men. But that is amazing, though. American. It's sad that I know we just can't say American, but then you have to realize why aren't they saying it more? Being that he is it is such a big move, a big universal ceremony, and that is uh, refrained from like shh, like you kind of know, oh, don't talk about it, don't say it, keep it to yourself. Someday, oh yeah, someday, people will be able to. We're working on that. We're working on it. Anyways, so more about the world. So my stream I'm gonna do I think 3 a.m. in the morning. I know I'm gonna be fighting all kind of dream demons. Okay, so but they sent an email, and I did send an email back, but I didn't specify when. So I could wait till my time and come in like 30 minutes, 20 minutes early and say, oh yeah, see, I'm here. But that's not me. They know what I meant, I think, although I did not specify. Oh, I'm going to, although I'm reading like uh, the U.S. Yeah, I mean they can reach out, but it's really London, the United Kingdom, but other countries, can link in, like America, other countries can link in as well, in which they do. But pretty much during the day, I'm speaking to people on that in that sphere or that continent. Mhm. All the different types of Europe dialect in my ear. I haven't checked out Pope Leo the 14th, his astrological chart. I mean, I could do that, and I didn't think about that. I could have did the video capture bit. I could still do that. Take a snapshot. See what makes him so darn interesting. So, okay, let me try to work this out somehow. But I'll keep talking. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do when it comes time for me to um because I have to build to monetize everything. And I've been getting visions that that's underway this year. Hmm. So because I've already accomplished, um, already have like all the major companies, and of course the other direction is to set up my own space on the internet somehow. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to add this. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. We're getting somewhere. We just want to know. So here's okay, so September 14th, 55. I just need right now I just need which is you all know him as a Leo. Oh, that's why he chose it. He thinks he's a Leo. And he still is a Leo. That's why he chose it. Oh, see? Oh, Ooh. Oh, my. What? Oh, snooze. Oh, we go straight to Twitter. I gotta claim my post and delete it because I made my post a little too boring, too vague. Okay. No, no, no. I just add to it. Oh. Um, Logical sign. Okay. Okay. Let me make sure because I sometimes I want things to be okay. It said yep September 14th. Let me make sure. Okay, September 14th. Oh, see. Okay, hold on. Ooh, he was a Virgo in the old one. Okay, old astrology. All right, that's even better. Okay, old dates. He is a Virgo. In the new astrology date, he is a Leo. Mm-hmm. Boom. All right. That is okay. There. No, I messed it up. I got trigger happy. Okay. Okay. Delete. Okay. I forgot to add the photo. Bam. Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah. All I gotta do is put that here. Oh, yeah, you want me to lowercase that? Fine. All right. Now, perfect. Mm-hmm. There. Oops. Yeah, I don't need all that. All right. See, I don't even. I don't know if I want to like look at his star chart. That is crazy. Some I don't know what possessed me to want to look. Oh my gosh, he's a Leo. the okay. First of all, he was born into the Virgo uh, star sign as the old dates. The corrected dates, the new dates, because the stars expansion, all of that, the new wave age, age of the Aquarius, Ficus, blah blah. He is indeed a Leo, a true Leo, and he chose that name. I beat what? mm, mm, mm. I caught it. So that answers that. Yeah, real spooky. It's gonna get real spooky. So now what? They're already saying that he's in all of the old secret um, clubs. So that they said the order that he comes from is older than the I want to say Saint Francis already. Pope Francis transcended one. Pope Francis. Oh, his the Leo current the new Pope's order is older than Francis order. I was listening, but my contribution is astrology. that okay. I am I am great, Leo. I am I am great. I put that I put that in the Twitter. I'm going to talk about that all day when I go to people's chat box who are talking about Francis. Mm, that's why he chose that name. Okay. Am I don't think I'm up. I probably need to like designate. I mean, this is a big find right now. We just excavated a major find, like mystery. That is one that we like weren't even looking for it. I wasn't looking for it, but yeah, I mean, that's a huge contribution. So what I'll do is what I'll do. I will eventually, because I mean he's the Pope, and his position is one of the tarot cards. I I'll late that I can share. I think not. I can at least do that since I'm not gonna like do the whole. Let me bring up his chart, his stars, because you all know that I was gifted by spirit to do it in a very special way. Astrology. Whoa, I don't know what gave me the impression that I was falling. Okay, let's see. That's crazy. Okay, he is. Well, I might as well just show all of them then. Oh yeah, I'm doing something with this one. This one is where President Trump is at right now. So I might as well leave this out because I will want to talk about that. I put at the bottom. Uh, okay. I will share this much. This is I'm going to talk about Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 of the Bible. I mean, um, the tower is also it represents all towers, but of course, biblically, the towers can represent the towers of Babylon. But it doesn't have to also, but it can also mean not like the Tower of Babylon as well. It depends on what the conversation is, its usage. Oh, here it is. So this is the Pope. It's the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is the Pope, and then in some cards it just says the Pope. But traditionally it says the Hierophant, and this is the a true garb of popes, including also Pope Francis. Okay, so this is Pope. Um, well, it must be in this. Hold on. Well, it's in the thumbnail. It's the one with the strength card. We can also interpret his name from Greek because you can do you can well obviously because the tarot cards correspond with Hebrew letters, connecting them directly to Psalms 119, of course. Then also the Old Testament written in Greek, so you can translate, the letters Greek into tarot card language as well. Then you could say, go on further to say, well, so what? You can definitely translate that then to any language. That's true. But but it doesn't take away that the founder of the tarot deck was very much Roman Catholic, so it's still speaking to the Christian soul. Although the tarot card it's meant to permeate all throughout the world. Of course, if you understand the story of let's say Christ, then yes, it's about the world, not about one sector of people, one group of people. Anyway, the Pope Leo the 14th. And of course, this is a moderated card. It's like a of moderation. Um, I'll do this one, but I'm gonna let things need to play out as they are meant to play out, and then because it's not a prediction that I need to preserve. It's everything that I would say about it. It's already unfolding, but I am so humble. I don't have to say, look what I've got. I know some. No, I don't even have. I am so certain. I'm gonna wait till it's all done. Everybody get their glory because they're the one that do the work. That's what I always tell my clients. I'm like, no, you did it. You're the one who did the work. I just re- all I have to do is listen to the spirits and play it back to you. But you did the work, so you get the applause. Um, so pretty much, yeah. So I will definitely share something very interesting, things that I know when it all plays out. Mm-hmm. Mm. So I'll be coming in and that's why, as opposed to, I told you so. See, as we speak. No, I don't. I don't have to do that. It's already a checkmate. The symbols is enough. Yeah, it's gonna be big. Anyway, so I'm stunned right now just from this groundbreaking finding. Was I wasn't even anticipating like that to come up. That's the last thing I was thinking. Did I even think about? Well, maybe his birthday sign is in that. I may have glazed by it, but it would have sounded so unreal. But actually, this river, this is real. This with my own eyes. He, wow. I had time to fumble the ball, get back control of the ball, and get to where it needed to go to get to the goal. No, I didn't. I haven't seen anyone bring this up. Well, maybe he's a Leo. No one even casually, jokingly, it's insinuated. No one thought about it. But of course, they would have thought it in like as it would have been a theory because they wouldn't have known about the new dates. They probably said, well, maybe. Well, what's this about? Oh, he's a Virgo. They probably would not have guessed that he actually is a Leo. So they really would have been like they would have made jokingly and said, well, maybe that's his star sign. It's like, well, why would the Pope choose a star sign as his name? Well, it doesn't make any sense. Well, but that's more to say that where does these imageries of the tarot card come from? It comes from Roman Catholic Church. It comes from the church, and yes, they do study the cosmos, and they give Christian stories behind them, um, which I share a lot. Oh, that's very nice. My phone is creeping me out. Okay, all right, it's charged up. Everything came to life a little bit. Huh. Oh. Oh. What? Yeah, I want to do something like that. Mm. Let's see if I can get that again. I probably won't ever find that again. How did I do that? Actually, that's not bad. It's different. I never thought about that color. It's like I'm watching television. No, just this one's fine. Okay, right there. I'm so entertained. Yeah. Um. Oh wow. Yeah, there's a lot of activity happening. Um. I shouldn't. And I'm not even gonna think about like all the things I gotta learn. I'm gonna have to learn so much. Hmm. Um, Basically, what comes to pass is that most of the way that I guess when you start to bring in like religions following the stars, they are always following everything as they are, like to the T. Like they go by like the solar days rather than the calendar days. Like definitely Israel, um, Hinduism, definitely the church. Like they go by where like the like if you notice the dates on the calendar has I guess different things like holidays, but when you try to cross reference and try to make sense of like why do certain holidays fall on certain days, it won't make sense to you unless you're looking at it um, by the planetary. Which, by the way, you know, the Bible say, and also in the book of Enoch, that the stars are for keeping time and watching out for signs and things like that. So, for some reason, I don't know why this is, but my I prefer saying psychic predictions, but it's touching like the glass of prophecy. It's coming it's like it's moving so close to prophecy. I think when this happens, because I've been getting like vibrations about this, I'm already attracting um, like no go energy. Like people like somebody reached out and I'm like, I mean, everything works perfect. It's never about my readings, but it just gave me this feeling like I got occultic vibes. And then so that brings me to my point. It's like the more that I start to if it starts to appear that I'm channeling prophecy, psychic energy is one is enough. That's already hard to take, and you know, like the reading of the minds does not help. The ability to read minds. I have another gift, by the way. I might as well go ahead and share with you all. I have the ability to like some people who are on the phone with me. I can share with what they look like and also what they're wearing. I can tell like what people look like in their lives. Also, I could tell like what their pets look like in their lives. So yeah, so that gets a little. Sometimes it's a little much, and people are trying to like work through that, and so I'm carefully. Sometimes I feel like a dream character. Like if you say certain things, cues, their faces twist. Like, like I'm guiding people out of the reading. So well, I'm guiding you out of the reading. So my biggest fear is that like some group tries to steal me away from the psychic industry again. Meaning, I say again. Apparently, it's happened before, and sadly, you know, because these people can get into positions, so they can also act on both sides. Like they're on the inside, but they're really, you know, part of these groups, and it's like pulley strings. So I have to be very careful. You know, psychics are supposed to, but they don't have a lot of books on this. Like you don't really get to hear this unless some psychic person who's become big enough, or maybe it's a person who, when they were a child, they were put through, the occultic life treated them poorly. Maybe they were exploited in some way. you know, they had to see, you know, different types of counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists and things like that. mm, I don't want to think about it. I'm from that world, but I didn't. Although I did encounter. I'm not saying playing. Oh, I never seen that in my life. No, I mean I've encountered that, but it didn't become real to me until as an adult. Now that I'm an adult, you know, people sometimes I'm interacting with people. I think that they're expecting me to like make the mistakes that I would as a maybe like a teenager, and there's just no way. My goodness, my people, the soul group I was involved, they made sure that I knew about what was to come. You know, when dealing with the public, they made sure that like I'm not gonna be in any, but not put myself in a position where I'm in danger. I've been thinking about this for like for the past hours. Like, what about those, you know, those, I guess they're like spiritually gifted people, right? And they may even, you know, make people feel like they have some kind of, you know, like ability or power, or that they, you know, maybe they have even psychic abilities, or maybe they channel, and or maybe they're mediums, and then they, you know, get in a position, and then where they're maybe too laxed on the language around them, and the people starts referring them to like deities like God, goddess. But every time that happens, it does not care what ethnicity, what color, what gender. It does not care what gender at all. They always something horrible, like they come up, you know, like there's a like, you know, like those you know, like the spiritualists where people call them mama and papa and all this, and then later on what you hear, you reading their obituary, or you know they're going up the river and their lives is forever tarnished, and they could have traditionally started their life out, you know, just wanting to help people, but you know it's like they never had the ability to take control of their voice, and like their voice, rather than they're telling people the belief system, other people are dictating what the belief is. And that's when people, because people, you know, I find who are not spiritual, who are not disciplined to working with spirit, they can't really feel in touch and reach out and grab hold of spirit. They want the container and to pour spirit, something that represents spirit into it. And oftentimes that comes in a form of a person who is gifted, even someone who is unknowingly spiritually gifted, but a person who, in this case, is knowingly gifted, but just not, maybe not seasoned enough, because a lot of these people are extremely young. Like you would say, wow, you know, if this person to be treated like that, you would think that they're on their way out, like, you know, like they're at the ages of a pope, you know, like they're like 80, 80 years old. You know, they paid their, you know, like they've done their deed, you know, paid their dues, and you know maybe they're being helped around, and you know they, you know, they have like a, what do you call that, like a reverence about them. But these people are young, extremely like babies, you know, even. And some people would refer to them as babies. I know that you say no, they're third. These people, the ones that I'm talking about, are like look like they look like the young 40. You know, who do all the fasting and juicing and oh my gosh. So they really take care of, you know, in a position they take care of themselves, which you know that's, you got to keep up the appearance, but golly, I mean that is so, it's for me being a psychic, and then also my close encounters in my own life, that stuff, terrifies me to no end. That is so spooky. And I jokingly say when I don't go so deep in these tough discussions, I say, "Oh, don't try anything with me. I've watched all the Disney channels. Yes, absolutely, like like horror stories." But then I have to elaborate. Like, what are you talking about? Disney. The first people start thinking about is, the prince and princesses and bright colors. I was like, oh no, no, no. I mean, young kids stolen away, or somebody's always trying to take their powers. Is something like that. So that's Witch Mountain. Yes, Witch Mountain. Those horror stories. So yeah, um, someone's always trying to take their magic that they were born with. That's like, wait a minute, I was born with that. Like, and then there's stories where like they tried it. The stories where the person with it says, "I'm even trying to give it to you. Here, it means that's so much to you," and then they can't touch spirit. And anyway, you can't. Spirit gives gifts, and unlike spirits doesn't take the gift back. So yeah, people take their things back. Spirit does not. Spirit is like, I won't take it back. Now we can misuse it. We can even underuse it, like not use it at all, but we still have it. And if we begin to open ourselves up and trust spirit again, we can access it. So it's not about, oh well, yeah, if the spirit will take it away if you misuse it. No, or something like to that effect. No, or you don't use it, it goes away. No, you just have to realign and you know be real with yourself and be real and true to, or be real with the gift. Tap into it, and it will resurface again like it never left. I've taken before. I have taken. It was, I think it was like I think it was like my 21st. Is it my 21st or 22nd? I think it's my 22nd. I keep saying 20. I keep saying 23. I think it was my 22nd. So at the end, okay, yeah, okay, now it makes sense. At the end of my 21st birthday, um, and being the number 22, I did not do any readings, not even like try to figure something out, psychically. I didn't do anything. And I was three times. Now I know it's bizarre. I'm not saying that I'm chosen or that I went through the same ritual as Christ, but three times that people try to convince me, like they put themselves like in a position for me to. It's like they knew I could go a little extra, go a little elaborate, but I wouldn't. I was, well, I hope that it all works out for you. I hope that, one thing we do is we just try to work on ourselves every day and put our best foot forward. I was speaking more like those terms rather than saying, Spirit showed me this. It was three times. And then, okay, so I reached my 23rd birthday, which covered everything. And the reason why I did it because the world card or the symbols, which I would have interpreted before I turned 22, represented liberation from everything. So it was my way of casting away the first 22 years and putting it behind, and then beginning again on 23. And the number five came to mind, and that's the world number. It's a love number as well. So universal love number actually. So I met a friend because I hadn't opened up myself again, and lo and behold, the okay, um, to assure that I wouldn't tap into or be tempted, I buried all of my things that were psychic related. Every book, tarot deck, even playing cards because playing cards is my first psychic tool. So I had to do away with the playing cards as well. and I wouldn't partake. Hey, you want to play? Oh, I'm good. I didn't say, oh well, I'm an old psychic and I shouldn't touch the cards. Yeah, or it was because I just politely declined, and then I was sitting there, and my friend went to their bedroom to grab something, and I happened just to look around. I wasn't like snooping, but I just happened to look, and on the table was a deck of tarot with the same. I mean, they're the same exact deck. In fact, the amount of usage in the deck looked exactly like mine. Mine, like the edges, were like they were a little bit used, as were these, same exact way that the ones that I buried. So, uh, I asked a friend about them, and then of course I worked up to say, do you mind if I read your tarot decks? And of course, by the end of it, he says, "Oh, you can have those. You can take those with you. I don't know what I'm doing with those anyway. Like I'm past that. And you seem to know what you're doing, know your way around them." So I ended up with my tarot deck returned back to me. So then I was like, "Oh, it's time to start again." And that's when I began my search for like the different industries. So that's how I returned back to it. So I know that if you decided not to utilize the gift or any gift, that is not gone. Um, and I don't believe that simply because you have it, you have to use it. Because I've met plenty of people who said they didn't want it. A true, especially empathic, who didn't, they never became this. First of all, in this world, there's infinite possibilities. So there's empaths and they can't help it. So that's what people normally understand an empath. But then there are empaths who just never acted like one. Like they're like, oh, you're gonna go do that? I don't care. Like, what does that have to do with me? Like, and they made it all the way to corporate world, and they use it to get hints, but they don't go too. It's like they'll put their little pointy finger in there, just enough, and that's it. They only use it like only like once, twice throughout a year, but they don't think of themselves as empath, and they shudder to think that I was referencing, because when I say, "Oh, you're empathic," did you know that? They're taking it as that they are open to everybody and that they're getting ran over, used like a mop, like they are a tool or something. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that you're a ratchet. I'm saying, or that's a tool. I'm not saying you are a tool. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, no. So I know for a fact that you don't even have to use the gift, and you can feel just as gratified, successful as anyone. So like, there are people who, clairvoyance. I met people of one of like all the gifts, and some of people would say that they really don't want it, don't like it, and they made their way in life, and they would never, like, they didn't even realize that they had it, and they had done all the things in the world that they wanted to do, or where they're at, where they are where they want to be in life, and they don't want to be awake to that and get distracted. So it's like, please don't, like, please stop at the door, please don't disrupt my world. So, but they have readings, they feel safe allowing me to guide the conversation to getting little insights here and there as needed. So that's where I came in. And of course, I don't push the subject. Once they turn it away, I always. But if I, like suddenly just shift the language, for them, they usually come back later and say, "So, like, but if I wanted to," oh, I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to do that. But they heard the information how to begin unlocking it, and maybe someday. And a lot of times in people's latter age, they're like interested and they're trying to figure out how to get back into it. They call me and it's like, how did you get where you're online and or where you're working now? You're answering calls. Like how do you even get started? And I tell them how. And okay, so I watched. Okay, so first of all, I'm very perceptive. Okay, so I've grown up in this industry all my life, right? And I've watched people and I've interacted and even assisted people in written bios and things like that for people. So I know how they did it or doing it. So I say, well, yeah, well, if you wanted to, you would get in touch with Expo. I know that there are expos that just always local in the state or in the community. That do something annually or do I like have events throughout the year. There's some that travel from state to state over the state lines, and they move seasonally. Always, they're on par with good weather. And I also know some that are global. So, like if you want to travel to a different parts of the world, and they are exposed and things like that. So I was relaying how, and I said, well, and then once you're there, you would get in touch with the president, who's facilitating the events, coordinating, and then you could ask whether if you want to be a vendor or to be maybe maybe if you're an author, you wanted to, if you wanted to talk, yeah, you can also get um, time slots to deliver maybe a dissertation or a thesis or something. It may be something that you found and you want to educate people. And then of course they always had like media. They have media packages or things like that. Depending on the level, you can even talk to a news channel, and they prioritize you as someone who is meant to be visible and make you become seen in front of thousands of people. If that's what you're into. And so I like explaining to them this how in my head I'm saying, well, it's the simplest thing. Because I remember having to do some of that, like I had to well, my first exposure was to one called opera, OPERA, which is Organization Psychic Research Education Association. And so I tested, and at times, but I became because I was so young. Sometimes they say, "Oh yeah, you don't have to buy the booth." Sometimes they would have me buy the booth, and they would just see where my spirit is, and I always do it so joyfully that they make them even more curious in me. Like, did you hear what we said? We said that you're gonna pay for your own booth today. And I'm like, okay. And I pull out all the money. I was like, well, I came here made money. Like I can use the money that I made, over the past weekends. And they're like, okay. Then they end up taking me like we all go out to dinner, and they're like, pay for the dinner, which is of everything. And by the time the weekend's up, it's like the same cost of for a table that I would take up, that I would purchase. I mean, so if it was like, well, they would say it was for responsibility. Like the adults, like they would pay like 70 or something like that, or 80. They said, well, you have to pay. We're gonna pay 50. It's like, okay. No, not a problem. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about it. Then we go out, and then the bill, the where we go out to eat would be like $50. So like, okay, but I can pay for trying to figure. Okay, I can pay for my. Oh no, I got it. That'd be my teacher, by the way. Is my Because everything was orchestrated also through my teacher, who I met going through the hallway, and then, oh, let's let's go together. So we all, so it became a whole like a thing. And so I guess some people found their way through, like, people with agendas, like dark agendas, like who practice dark psychologies and uh, the, uh, the, and write dark um, thesis and dissertations and things like that, to harm and all that. And then take advantage. But mine was more, um, everything was like closely related to like school, my teacher, literally, and being the youngest. And so I was around all of these beautiful, wonderful, like people who have their stuff, like practical, down to earth people who have their stuff together, who also held positions in the state, like councilmen and women and things like that, taught at some school or university. So uh, like I mean, I can see why people would say, like, what about, like, your situation sounds strange, very strange, very, very, very strange. However, like, I would say, even then, I would say, well, I'm pretty sure there are other people, who find themselves in worse circumstances, because as I'm meeting people growing up, they're trying to figure the things out I have access to, just reach out and take the book. They're like having to find it from scratch. They're having to, you know, like get around and chase it. And that seemed destructive to me. It was destructive. And they didn't have no guidance, no mentors. You know, not unlike the ones that I had access to. So that is, I did notice that. Um, so I can only, so now the all of the way your wild imagination of like what people, who encounter, these dark activities at a young age, what they're exposed to, of course, you don't want to even imagine, is all come out with Cash Patel, and what is it, Bondi, Pam Bondi. Well, they're saying it. Look, this is what's going. This stuff is real. This is real. I didn't. Now I have encountered, my encounters were more like um, young adult, and that's a time in which at least I had a fighting chance, because that's the thing, I can really fight. So verbally, I'm fast. I can. It's so fast and so sharp that I literally guide conversations and diffuse everything. Like I'm so, like, my the way I speak, it diffuses all of the, like, there've been times where, I was in life and death situation, but my language is just diffuse everything without me even having to fight. But then if I ever had to fight, I always, I conquer, I win. So that means, I'm just saying, I had a fighting chance, and I know how to talk. What you want to call it, fast talk, or like talk myself out of getting held up for a minute. I, I found I found a way how to utilize. So it's either or. Whatever I needed to do. Now, to the very least, I was in a place to defend myself. Now, these people, they don't seem to have a way. I mean, they're literally, like, we talk about stealing human beings, a whole body, a whole person. So these people that they're finding, I mean, who are going to need help, they don't have, they don't have the ability to defend themselves. So, which I cannot relate to how vulnerable that would be. Now, I have experienced times in which I had to have, obviously, self restraint, but that's because I'm so powerful, and I don't want to. mess up something, but I mean like absolutely not being able to do a thing, even if you wanted to. I'm talking about that kind of vulnerability. I've never experienced that before, where there's absolutely nothing cannot do. You know, if I like something I did not put myself into that I'm undeserving, you know, to happen to have happened to me and can't do anything about it. That I can't say that I've ever experienced that in this lifetime, not in this lifetime. So yeah, so I'm very like grateful that I followed and learned the right way, had the right mentors, because when young people, as they do, including parents, often speak on the behalf of their young ones when they interact with me over the phone, even from all over the world, and they have these questions about this interesting path or even the industry itself. I can give them healthy answers. And I've even forewarned people when they were working with people who were, I guess, claiming to do work for them, spirit work, psychic work. First of all, whatever that they were trying to get that other person to do, I do right there in that reading. It's like, it doesn't, you don't have to do all that. And I don't have you go buy stuff, candle or whatever. Then I give instructions on what you could do if you wanted to, but I always give like alternative ways. Like if a person doesn't have those things, not even a candle, I was like, well, just find a spot on the wall or find like a picture. Everybody has a picture or something. Maybe a little wet knot, little statue or something. You can just use that, or use a corner, the corner of the room. Something where you can kind of zero out and into. So I give people ways in which it helps them. Oh, I've even did okay, some of the like types of workings where the person they go in and they literally uplift even the residue. Like you do healing, right? But there's things that are left behind that will take time to heal. We've even gone and done work successfully where we've even uprooted fat, because especially when a person, let's say, I've interacted with people who, they've were violated under, let's say, some kind of drug or anesthesia, and there's vibrations there. And it's like, well, how do you release those vibrations? And guided meditations. The person who's worked with, many people, have called in. We celebrate the fact that that there's sobrieties and things like that, and that they have a zeal and will to live. One time, this cardinal reached out to me, and he was from the like full on. He was like yell like he was speaking to me like I was one of his people, and I was like, and I told him that I had to channel his energy. I said, "Don't you dare do that," because he was talking about the big no no, the big no, and it's like he called back, and kind of like his way of letting me know that he didn't do it. He didn't do the thing, to himself. Oh, obviously, if he was able to contact me, so I've had a few of those as well. Um, but also we have numbers. Like if we're just beat, of course I always for some I know how to I guide. So far I've been able to guide everybody with that because of my own background. Surround people also they're mentors, but there are also people around me at the same time who are actual therapists, all kinds of psychologists, and psychiatrists, and doctors of this and masters of that. So and like clinical, like people who are like by the state and work with private programs and things like that. So and also I went in the path of the therapy, psychology, metaphysics, and holistics, and all of that. And I love guided meditations and affirmations, becoming declarations, and all these things, and help people. But yeah, I was saying that we do have numbers that there's different like whole list of hotline numbers, like depending on what that need would be, and I would just say, hey, if nothing else wins, and everything else seems to, if it gets a little too much, too hard, this is another number. Um, mm, uh, it's never come to that. Their guides, if I may pass the buck here, seem to always know what to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, oh, and I was also listening to wrap up this conversation. I was listening to Cash Patel. He said, yes, with the victims, we they have a. I thought I was hoping that they have, and that like in a matter short of like a window, like from the time that they're uprooted from that dark life into, like they say settled, becoming settled, and everything becomes like everything is distorted and it's trying to like match it to their perception that the smaller the window for to getting the help they're going to need, they're going to need it, especially the ones when you watch when they uploaded. What drew me to even interact with this because the photos with they had occultic symbols. I was like, and it was harming others type of thing. Yep. And so I was saying, yeah, they're gonna need all kind of help. And the smaller the window, from the time that you pluck them out of that reality and put in, they're trying to, and they're maybe they're stabilizing in another parallel. The smaller window to in terms of like having them speak to someone and begin doing work immediately. And if even if they're tired, just have them get a donut, get a little bagel, maybe ham and little egg, ham and cheese, a little coffee, and get to work. So the better. That's pretty much what I was implying and why. But yeah. He says, oh yeah, we've got all that. But he said no. His of course it wasn't directed to him. It was no. That's what I was saying. It's like they have a whole section for that. He said no. I bust skulls. There's another guy. This other guy. No, he does all the therapy. I'm like, oh yes. Well, we kind of do that. You gotta apply your skills where they belong. I mean, that's your skill. Be good at it. Be great. Oh, all right. What time is it? Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna exit now. Have my little fun, and hopefully, I pray. Oh gosh, I would love to come back at 3 a.m. But right now, I'm gonna try to catch a series or something for a little while. Until then, all right.